Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are doing a snowy POV. Recently in the city, it probably snowed 60 centimeters in some parts, and I've literally never seen that much snow, I think, in the last 10 years. So it was refreshing to see, but it made it very difficult to get down actually in the snow to make street photos, which is what I originally wanted to do. Instead, I settled for the day after the snowstorm, went into the city, looked for some street compositions, and I'm gonna say I'm actually pretty happy that that's what I ended up doing. It led to some probably pretty interesting photos that wouldn't have been captured on a sunny day, and that's really what motivates me most to make street photography, is looking for those interesting compositions in the city that you probably wouldn't have been able to have gotten when the weather is pristine. So the photos come out definitely a little bit more documentary. I'm really just looking to make sure I can get cool shots with all of that snow on the ground, probably like 2 feet of snow everywhere, and that's only going to lead to some pretty unique photos. So if you do like this one, feel free to comment down below. I made the video a little bit more chill than you're probably used to on my channel, which is pretty good. Do something else, enjoy the video. I'm gonna add some commentary over top of the photos, and yeah, let's just hop on into it. All right, so we're hopping on in, and as you can see, I'm trying to take some shots down this hallway. I think this hallway is probably the most photographed spot in the city. I'm actually not a fan of it, specifically because the lighting up at the top is super warm, so you end up getting these like crazy orange hues in your photos, and just editing it can be kind of tough if the ambient lighting around is not ideal. You're basically just gonna have to desaturate the oranges to such an extent, and what ends up happening a lot of the times, especially when you're out shooting photos in the morning, yeah, see like that one, desaturated the oranges as much as possible. You can add a lot of contrast, create some vignetting, and get a cool shot out of it, but I've done it enough times that we're gonna skip over that part. And really where I was going with that was, if your ambient lighting is cold in the mornings, like it was this morning, you end up getting contrasting orange and blue tones. So that makes it pretty hard to edit when you bring it back into Lightroom, because you're dealing with such imbalances in light temperature that you really have to cohesively edit your hues together to actually lead to a unique style of image. And this shot coming up here is actually one of my favorite compositions in the city, especially without the snow. You can see with all that snow on the ground, it is insane what was going on. I honestly couldn't believe how snowy it actually was. There were falling ice signs everywhere, and as I was walking, I was just getting battered by pieces of snow falling off of buildings. I was like walking with my left hand over my head because I honestly didn't want to get conked by some like massive chunk of ice falling off a roof. Over here, I was really mostly just trying to capture a photo of light. I don't know what I was thinking with that one, with the woman walking across the street. I think I was hoping she was a little bit more isolated than she actually was, but it was a kind of cool shot, the first one with all that lighting composition. I think I redeemed myself with this one, with the backlights hitting this woman as she's walking away. I think it would have been cooler though if maybe she was 2 feet further ahead, and really just trying to get some cool shots then of some lookups, because I'm really looking to document the city in this time around. It was mostly just about, this city has a ton of snow in it, what can I capture, what's it gonna look like? And especially here with the people stepping over that snow ridge with the streetcar in the background, I thought that was a really unique photo. Definitely something that might be looked at like 20-30 years from now, when we're wondering how much snow actually fell on the city and when it wasn't cleaned up. This one was cool because I like the light reflections off onto the pavement there. Definitely the choppy snow didn't really help much, but I kept that theme, looking for reflections. You can basically see how the buildings are reflecting into the asphalt here. The entire road was soaked, so of course I'm gonna go point the camera down the street and try and get that leading line, and got some cool light reflections there. I was hoping that maybe somebody would walk across the street as I was there. That street is notorious for having people cross it in the middle of the road and jaywalk, but nobody was doing that, so I just gotta grab my shot that I wanted. Here's pretty cool. So this is literally the heart of the city, and I sped this up just so you can kind of have some feel for what it actually looked like, and get some unique shots there of the TD Center buildings with all the snow around. It was actually bizarre. That part, I figured that the middle of the city might be a little less snow, but nope, it didn't clean it up as much as I hoped. These two shots here are pretty cool. I honestly love taking shots up on to Old City Hall. This part is just like, there's a contrast between old and new buildings. You get some really unique compositions, especially if it's not something that you're used to seeing in the past, or if it's new to you. I think if tourists come to Toronto, this is definitely the most photographable street in the city, especially because, as I'm doing right here, you can basically just point your photo down and get a cool composition, or point your camera down, I should say, and get a cool composition, especially with those those car headlights, it led to a really interesting shot that I would probably include in a photo carousel. As I'm walking across the street, then you'll see that actually the Suits buildings are in front of me. I've come here a couple times in POV videos. This is a unique lookup shot though. I've not really shown this in the past, and it's because these buildings have actually been under construction probably for the last, like, I'm gonna say 2-3 years. So I'm now able to get some lookup shots I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm pretty pumped about that. But I am always looking for more and more lookup shot compositions in the city. There's only a select few that I'm gonna say are definitely the most aesthetic in Toronto, but I'm pretty grateful that there are tall buildings to begin with, just for those kinds of photos. Here, similar to those New York shots you're gonna see with all the steam vents, there's probably only a select few steam vents in Toronto that actually like have enough steam to make a cool photo, and that is one of them. That guy standing in front of it though, obviously that would be a cool shot if maybe it was somebody a little bit more interactive, but I wanted to just capture the amount of snow around the vent, the guy putting stuff into the trunk of that truck, and then of course other guys walking through the snow to probably get to work. I'm always wondering really where people are going. Like, the whole city's shut down, you're not supposed to go in your office, and I'm always amazed that there are just enough people to lead to interesting photos in the mornings. I'm pretty happy about it, I'm not going to complain, but it's definitely like on my mind, what are these people actually doing? Here I'm trying to get some cool compositions. There's another steam vent behind this guy walking, so I'm grabbing a select view here, waiting for some more people to actually show up on the street, and I got that one. I'm gonna say it's okay. Kind of interesting because of the way he looks, but nothing crazy in terms of like an interesting character or a person. This shot's pretty cool. It's a good photo of artificial light. I love the front look of a Lexus car. They honestly look really great. I'm a big fan of getting that like aggressive stance, so whenever I see one, I just snap a quick one. I've probably got a massive collection of cars on the street. Then I got that one of that person on their phone, and then really just trying to get creative with these buses. I've taken some interesting compositions with buses in the past, but the snow is preventing me from actually getting those photos, so I had to keep it eye level for that one. But if you get low on the ground with some reflections and a cool bus, maybe with somebody inside of it or walking into it, it can lead to some pretty interesting photos, especially if like there's a couple like here in front of us. They actually they had a bit of like a goodbye, and I was trying to capture that, but I missed the moment, unfortunately. But if they're doing that while they're getting into a bus and like, you know, taking their time, you can get some pretty nostalgic looking photos, I'm gonna say. And yeah, classic one there with the Eaton Center Bridge and the guy walking. So it's probably halfway through now to actually me being out. My shoes are soaked, everything's wet. I was trudging through snow. I've skipped over those parts because you don't need to see me struggle. So I grabbed a quick shot there of just some bokeh. I was curious what it would look like with a fire hydrant in the snow. And then as I walk over to the intersection with Old City Hall, I'm looking for interesting people on the street. There's a cool composition here that I captured a little while ago with somebody with an umbrella, but fortunately I missed it. There weren't enough people for me to actually get the shot that I wanted. So instead, we're back at it with those lookup shots. I'm really just looking to get some symmetry here. So a little off center, some distortion, and then that is the symmetrical shot on the third one there. So kind of cool. Probably play around with the lighting a little bit. Obviously very flat lighting because the clouds are so thick, but you can add some linear gradients, some radial gradients, and add some more contrast in your images. I think it definitely helps make it pop when you look at it first and you're just like, why did I take a photo of this? So then as I keep on walking down the street, I'm still looking for interesting people, and I saw that these people were basically crossing the street here, and I'm trying to basically capture them as they're coming towards me, but they noticed that I was there, so I ducked down and got some leading line shots of the cars here. Something I thought would be cool. It would be sweet though if one of them was a taxi or something like a little bit more Toronto related, and I could get an interesting photo carousel out of that. This woman here with her fur coat was an interesting subject, so this shot was very interesting. I think I'm gonna like take off the construction sign in the back there and just fix it up a little bit. And then with this woman here standing on the street corner, I was trying to do like a back focus shot, so I ended up getting her face looking at me because, you know, when somebody's grabbing a quick snap, you can't help but look. And then I got her out of focus, which was my initial intention, to have her like look in my direction and then have the back in focus and her out of focus. This shot was kind of neat. This person walking down the alleyway. It would have been sweet if they were a little farther back and they were lit all the way down the alleyway. And then of course there are these cool pillars here. I just trying to get a silhouette walking between the two pillars because it led to some interesting motion, and I think I got the shot. I probably would do it a little bit differently. Maybe the snow ruins it a little bit, but it also adds to the effect. I don't know how I feel about it. And of course, you're gonna round it off at the end with a streetcar shot and some shots by the Gooderham building with people walking towards me. So really, it was a good photo session. I'm gonna put up some of my favorites on the screen right now from this street view, and you can probably see these on my Instagram when this video goes out. I'm gonna put these up in a photo carousel. I hope you liked today's video. I hope that the amount of snow blew you away as much as it did for me. And yeah, if you did like this one, feel free to comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want anything to check out in future videos and want me to do a POV in a specific spot. I'm thinking about doing a POV maybe in Hamilton or Waterloo or something and just mixing it up a little bit. So yeah, with that, I'll see you all in the next one, and thanks for watching.